Welcome back to You Decide Podcast, the podcast where you decide. As always, joined by the usual punters, the Usopo, and the big punter over here, the big punter farmer himself, Ezra, aka Aaron. We have a special guest joining us today, but to introduce him, I'm going to flick it to the Uso.
Yeah,
you know what it is.
you know how we do. Sorry, we're gonna get to the bio. It's my privilege and again an honor to introduce our guest for this evening. I think we've answered the call from the people.
Yes,
to get back to the sports. So without further ado, 25 years young, out of Wanganui. Where all of two people live. He hit the scene with the Heartland 15 as a schoolboy, now living in the big city, debuting for the Blues in 2017. Also became under 20 world champion in the same year. He's now living here in Auckland, like I said, but he plays as NPC rugby with the Naki. Give it up for the 2023 Bunnings Cup NPC champions.
Let's go.
Taranaki had a stellar 2022 playing fullback for the world's greatest Samoan backline, led by the one and only Bowden Barretti. Named Super Rugby Pacific Player of the Year, which warranted him an All Black call-up. The call lasted all of 50 seconds. But dialing up an extra 30k into his bank account 48 for every week. With his cameo debut adding another 2 caps to his name. He's Samoan. I found out today that he's full Samoan, but grew up in Wanganui, so he could be Maori or Fijian. A simple man who likes simple things. The prophet himself. Boys, welcome to the show, Stephen Perofeta.
Let's go.
Nice.
My man.
What a bio again.
Yeah, thank you. I just go from strength. Welcome to the show, brother. How's it going?
Welcome, Moose.
Yeah, pretty good. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the kind words. But yeah, life at the moment, just rest and recovery and time for pre-season. But yeah, just house jobs, DIYs, want to be builders, but yeah.
Nice. How's it especially in the time of like rest and relaxation, is it hard for you to kind of get back into like just being at home, relaxing? Because I'm sure that like life of a footy player, it's just kind of go, training, game, and so on and so forth. Is it hard for you to slip back into it, or not? Is it easy?
It's hard at the start.
Yeah.
Like the first week or the first 2 weeks, I'm like bored. I'm like,
yeah,
miss the boys, or you miss turning up to training and like gymming and constantly getting a routine.
Yeah, I miss gymming too.
Rest and recovery for us athletes.
But then like once the first week passes and then you sort of get in that holiday mode, I sometimes like just fall into a trap and just relax too much. But yeah, I think at the moment I'm trying to keep myself busy with doing stuff at home or whatever my partner tells me what to do. It's just this. I don't know the feelings.
I felt like Chris started laughing straight away because he knows how it feels.
Yeah.
How's the Mad Monday vibes and the whole month after winning a chip with the Naki?
Did you guys go on a bindos?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. I'd come off a dry season, so the taste of my first drink, nothing tastes better. Went for a few good days, and let some demons out. I lost it on the Monday, but the boys held it together for me. We're out on one of the boys' farms, and a couple of the boys, Ruben O'Neill and Jesse Peretti, I'll name them because you're going to hear them soon. You're gonna see them. They're going to make waves. So they were on the DJ decks, and it was a vibe. And then that was a Sunday. And then Monday, we were on the balcony of one of the boys' houses, and sun was out, looking out to the beach. So yeah, it was living. But in all those 3 days, I probably accumulated 5 hours sleep. So minimal sleep, but no, it was probably time of our lives. It was good.
Yeah. You got to celebrate, eh?
Yeah.
What else do you do when you're a champion, eh?
Yeah, no, only us.
And yeah, we can. Before we sort of move on, I'll tell you a quick story on how me and the also met. We met down in Dunners. We met down in Dunners, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah. So, we were down there for my cousin's grad.
Yeah.
And
What's your nightclub?
and she said that Stephen's coming to stay with us. Can you move into a room with Rodders to share a room? I was like, Stephen who? Oh, Stephen, Geordie's mate, Stephen Perofeta. I was like, oh, all black. Oh yeah, see. So he jumped in, like me and Rodders like shared a room, and then obviously they went to pick up these guys from the airport, and then they arrived and got into the house, and they were upstairs in the living room. And me and Rodders was just chilling, like, play it cool. They go up just yet. And then we went upstairs, and I went up, obviously saw him sitting at the kitchen table, and I went up, introduced myself. I was like, oh, suppose I'm Aaron. And he goes, oh, suppose Stephen Perofeta, all black number 126. He was like, all black number 126.
1206. Well,
Yeah,
you know the room that you and Rodders moved into? Was it just one double bed? He got the king size bed.
We're like big bum to bums. We're looking at each other.
Hey, shout out to Rodney and to Brunetta.
That's my guy.
Tell us, you said something there. You were saying you're out on one of the boys' farms, and instantly thinking about, like, you grew up in the regions, right? You grew up outside of the big cities, not necessarily on the farm, but tell us what life was like as a young man in Wanganui or Whanganui, depending on where you're from.
Yeah. Well, first of all, there wasn't much going for Wanganui. Yeah, you have the river. You have there's like our version of our Sky Tower, which is like like not even high. But there's growing up, I was just a kid, just playing on the streets with my friends, staying out late, avoiding curfew, to getting home and getting it from Dad. But we'll do it on repeat because it was just fun. But there was a lot of trouble too, like in Wanganui. A lot of my friends that I grew up with are still involved in, like gangs and drugs and probably still down that pathway. But I had a younger brother and a sister, and so I was the oldest of three. And I think for me it was just setting the example for them. So then, because I didn't want to go down that path, and so I didn't want them to go down that pathway too. So
Nice.
a lot of it was driven from my dad. We grew up till about the age of 12 in Wanganui. With both our parents, with dad and mum. And then when I was in year 8, we moved up here to Auckland, and we come up here because mum had breast cancer, and she had her like chemo and her treatment up here. So we're up here for a year, and then she passed in 2009. And so when she passed, we moved back down to Wanganui. And I think that's where it started for me, and how I sort of got instilled the morals and values of how Dad sort of brought us up, or brought me up, more importantly. And I carry that till like today. So he was tough. Like, I think the reason I'm here is he's he was the reason why. Like,
nice.
yeah, I have fond memories of him just like putting everything into like training, getting me to games, and yeah, have I sort of gone off track? Yeah, he's brought, he just put everything into me, and like I look back and I think I was like, at the time I was like, fuck, we're struggling, like like damn. But like now I look back and I kind of think like we actually had it pretty good. Like I got everything I wanted, like boots, or you know, if I needed replacements, or I could go to my sports trips. He was always there, and yeah, I look back and I'm like, fuck, like we actually had it pretty good. But yeah, the way he sort of brought me up was just by the hand, and he just keep pushing me, and he'll do it to my brothers and sisters, but they wouldn't cope with it, or you know, they wouldn't put up with it, like they couldn't. Yeah, so
you must have copped a lot of that being the eldest, though.
Yeah, I think that was the reason why. So he just drove it all on me, and then I was trying to tell my brother and sister, like, yeah, do this, like it's all good, like come with me, we'll go like train or something. And they did for a bit, but then they just fell off. But yeah, I think his because he worked hard, and so I'd looked up to him, and I was like, oh, if he can do it, like I can do it too. And he sort of just drove that to us all, growing up.
Tell us about that, like especially at a really young age, having lost mom. And sorry for your losses, and you know, it must have been tough. You know, being the eldest child, and I guess Dad was kind of looking at you, you know, and depending on you, but to step up, but at the same time you're still really young, eh? How was it trying to navigate all of that? I mean, on one hand, like you said, like there's all these other outside influences. You know, you've gone through a traumatic experience in losing someone you love, and then at the same time trying to be a role model. I mean, I guess it's worked out for the best, but can you think back to that time, what that was like for you, and kind of how you moved through all of that?
Yes, I can. It was tough. Like it wasn't easy. I think what got me through was Dad was big on his faith, and like our faith was a massive part of it. Like that was something he would always turn to. But then another part was me just being strong for my siblings, my younger siblings, and like with Dad, like he doesn't really talk much, so like so like it was like a tough love that like he would show it by you know, disciplining us, or you know, pushing us, or you know, telling us this, or you know, I remember like whenever I would like stuff up, he would just sit me down and just talk to me quietly. He'll be like, all right, son, like this is, you know, why are you doing this? This is wrong. And he'll talk to me gently, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, because I got like quite rebellious, because like
as you would.
But then next thing you know, back, like he'll just talk
back to reality.
But I think that's what got me through, was just trying to be there for my siblings. And I was blessed because I had a lot of family in Wanganui at the time when we moved back, and the whole family raised us. Like I have a lot of aunties and uncles who, you know, took us under their care, and pretty much, and you know, got us to games, paid for our trips, and all of that. So I'm grateful for that, and I think
It's
yeah.
yeah. Sorry, just
Yeah,
before
yeah.
you go on, is like even back then, like at that young age, was the idea of you going on to pursue professional rugby even a thought in your head at that time, or were you kind of just playing because it was fun?
No, it wasn't.
No?
Yeah,
you,
it wasn't.
You knew that this is what I wanted to do, and I was gonna make sure that it would happen.
Or no,
It
you weren't
was
thinking-
never like a realistic
Yeah.
thing in my mind.
Oh yeah.
But Dad has told me, and my family member told me, like, I think I was young, man. I was like maybe 3 or 4, and I told Dad my dream, and my dream was to become an All Black. And so I think, and I was only 3.
Yeah.
And I think because I grew up around rugby, and
Yeah.
my aunties and stuff would take me to like club games, and like it was a passion, like
Yeah,
pure
yeah.
love for the game. And for like the first, like my first childhood memories are like of just having fun, like you're playing footy just for the fun. But then it wasn't until we got back down to Wanganui, and I was getting into high school, was when Dad really started cracking down. Like he like used to set his alarm like at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I remember vividly. It's like one of those alarms, and it goes 6 o'clock, and then I'll just hear Dad like stop snoring because he snores the house down.
Yeah.
And he'll start snoring, and I'll be like, oh fuck. Then he'll be like,
Then wake up. Go to sleep.
"Seki whao, go lunga, aluka moi." And then, so that was like
Wow.
him. So he would set his alarm, wake me up. He'll take me to a hill or something, or I'll go around like running around the block. But yeah, it was through those years, I think, was when he taught me that work ethic and a lot of things around like my mindset, and like my family were supportive as well.
Yeah.
Because they still come to my games now, and they came to my games when I was 6-7 years old. Yeah. So yeah.
And then it sounds like your dad was cut from the same cloth as a lot of parents who are there, especially those who like moved from South,
From the islands.
from the islands, and like that tough love, that real tough love. We've talked about it like heaps of times. What's it like now? Hey, what's that like now? Like
How's that relationship?
yeah, what's
changed?
that relationship like now? Like now that he see that all his hard work, the 6 o'clock wake ups and pushing you and probably even sometimes breaking you. Yeah. And then like seeing this side of things and what's it like now?
I think it's grown in spades.
Yeah.
The first time I heard him say "I love you," and I said it back to him like, "Oh yeah, I love you too. Like, I've loved you for a long time."
Yeah.
Was when I'd left school. So I think once I left home, he sort of had that void that I wasn't there, and I wasn't around my brother and sister, and I wasn't doing things at home. And once I heard that, I was like, oh shit, he's actually like softening up a little bit. Yeah,
He has a heart.
But now like he's good. He's good now. Like I can ask him how he is, and he'll tell me, "Oh yeah, I'm alright." But that's all he says. I'll be like, "Oh, how's your health?" And he'll be like, "Yeah, I'm healthy, and I'm doing exercise with one of the other elders, so it's keeping healthy because he's retired now."
Yeah.
So I'm able to talk more about, or a little bit more about, the feelings and emotions side of things, because that was non-apparent growing up. I didn't know what feelings were. I was just a straight arrow, like too serious at times, I feel.
Yeah.
But over recently over the last few years, I've just learnt to enjoy a bit more, enjoy life, enjoy people, love people. But yeah, it was funny after our final in the Neki.
The Naki, yeah.
I went and saw him after the game, and I had Chris Masoi come up and say hello to Dad as well.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
And I gave him a hug and stuff, and then he greeted Chris, and then Chris was like, that was a good game. And he asked my dad, and he's like, so are you proud of him? And then Dad was like, oh, yep. Yep. And he's like, fuck. You tell him you're proud of him.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's him. Like, that was him. You just, and like you says, I feel like a lot of our Pacific, you know, upbringing, parents, you know, that's how they are. But it's,
And underneath all that is the real, like, and they'll never show it. But they're probably the proudest parents. And he's probably like thinking to Chris, like, did your son just do? Like, did your son just win a chip? You know, but they'll never say it. And generally, they never show it. But I know, old man's proud.
That's like, what you're saying is, but and remembering same thing. Like we talked about this, I think a few weeks ago. Like our parents really like. The parenting that they had and that was modeled to them, right? Yeah. And what they learned from that, they then applied in their own parenting. And like, because this same story you're saying, like, especially with Dad and the kind of parenting styles, true for so many of our young men and women, and it's just it's cool to hear that as you've both grown, I guess, how that relationship's really changed and. That's a beautiful story. But let's talk then about the road then to making this dream come true. So from 3 years old, and then so you grow up, you come back down, you come back over to Wanganui, and you're in high school now. So you're playing. You're saying that there wasn't much of a rugby program at your high school.
Nah, nothing.
Which high school?
Shout out to the institute, the one. But so there wasn't much of a rugby program there. So are you playing club at this point, or and what was your thinking as far as like, okay, I'm in high school. I know I've got you. Surely you've got a bit of talent on you. What was your thinking as far as like, okay, how am I going to get to, and what is the next step here to progress myself further to becoming an All Black?
Yeah. So I started at Wanganui High School, which is like the main public school. Yeah. And I was there till year 11. So they play in like the Colts comp.
Oh, true. Yeah.
And so you're playing like all the under 21s, like local clubs, teams, club teams. And I was like, this isn't cutting it, eh? And so, luckily I got a scholarship across the road. I got poached from Wanganui Collegiate, which is the private school. They used to be private. And once that opportunity come up, I had to sit down and talk with Dad, and we sort of weighed up the options, and it was a better fit because they'd play like better teams, or like you'd get seen a little bit more opportunity. More opportunity,
exposure.
Yeah, so I think once that come up, I was like, all right, I can just give this a good crack at the school at Collegiate, and we ended up playing, I think, Boys High, New Plymouth Boys High, in New Plymouth, and Colin Cooper was watching that game, and I think that's when he saw me, and from then got a contract, or got like a wider training contract with the Neki, went up for academy, and that's sort of the pathway through high school for me.
Nice. What was your thinking then? We're like, I've made it.
I'm hot now.
No, it was quite daunting, to be fair. Like I'd never had like a program, or I'd never been in a rugby program, because at collegiate it was just like nowadays for us, you're literally in a super rugby. Yeah, school footy is like semi-professional, provisional.
Professional.
Yeah.
Did you get? Did you get your So that contract, that wider contract, did that come in your first year in collegiate, or?
That was my last year.
Your last year.
I actually repeated.
Oh yeah.
So like,
did you repeat and then make Heartland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in 2014, I was year 13. And then I repeated in 2015 for my credits.
Yeah.
But the rugby was on the side. Yeah. So the
Everyone doesn't know he dropped out at year 10.
So when I repeated, made a Hurricane Schools, and then after our school season finished, I played in the Heartland, and that was a buzzy experience. Like I went from a first 15 team, like a small forward pack that would just get dominated. A few good players in there though. There were a few good players in there, but they were all the boys that got scholarships. The rest were all right.
Just rich white boys.
But then when I finished the school season and went into Heartland, I was just like playing with these like full grown men, and they had like a pretty like experienced team, well-rounded like squad, like, and heaps of Fijians. So like you got your hard workers and like, you know, in the pack, and like Fijians would just do anything from anywhere. And I went from like a pack that was getting dominated to like a pack that was just bang, front foot.
And what a learning experience though.
Sorry?
What a learning experience for you though. Like, to come out of that.
Exactly.
And to get exposed to that level. It's still relatively young age, eh?
It was genuinely the first time I'd experienced playing on the front foot.
Were you getting the passes over the head?
So used to doing clearances.
Out of the
22. So it was good. And I had a cousin who took me to trainings and stuff, and he'll just keep pushing my case to the coach, and he was a gun, like he was a gun, like he was one of the people I looked up to growing up. He always took me to like touch trainings, rugby trainings, and then he brought me along to the Heartland trainings, and
shout him out, man.
Areta Lama.
The man.
So I got a lot of time for him. But he pushed the case, and then I remember my first game, I was like, fuck, I'm actually playing with like men now. But like, I think because I'd come from school rugby, I was still a little bit faster. So I was just
you're just getting around. Was Heartland a big deal in Wangas?
Yeah. Well, that's I feel like Heartland's their like Mitre 10. Oh yeah, the Heartland's like their Mitre 10. So they're and they're history wise, they're pretty like consistent where they finish and stuff. So the resources they invest into it are pretty good. Like they have a pretty good setup for a Heartland team.
So what was that, 2015?
2015, 2015.
And then you progressed there. Obviously, like the next step after that, or like the big milestone was coming up to Auckland, eh?
So 2015 finished school, and then
2016 Taranaki.
2016 Taranaki, and then the end of that year was like the pre-season for Blues. So that was a massive jump. Like it was a massive difference. Like growing up in Wanganui, then going to New Plymouth, I thought was big. But I'd lived in Auckland before, but it's like changed like so much. It's constantly changing. So
and not playing for the Blues, because that's something in itself. Like coming, even if you're in the wider training squad, like to say that you're in New Plymouth and then to move to the 09, that's a jump in itself. And so you move up, 2016.
Yep, moved up.
End of 2016 for the wider trainings. That would have been pre-season.
Yeah.
And what was that like? Because now you can say, I made it.
Yeah.
Now you're walking into and you're rubbing shoulders of
Yeah.
professional athletes.
Harder.
Well, from the Naki and then into the Blues.
Yeah, how do you go from like down there in Heartland to Taranaki, and then now you're standing next to Sunny Bill, and that must have been a big jump for you.
Yeah, it was huge. It was huge. Like I was, when I compare, it was like a little kid in a lolly store.
Yeah.
Like just eyes like holy hecker.
Yeah.
Like Sunny Bill, Jerome Kaino,
Cans,
Charlie
man.
Famuina, Ihio West, Piers Francis.
Yes.
Like boys I'd literally watched 2 years ago and just like, that's me. And then walking in, I was like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
I was literally like, what am I doing here? But then, you only come to find out that they're human and they're like genuine, like nice people and good sorts. Yeah.
And you'd think that too, like, what am I doing here? Like, from Wanganui, playing in, like from high
Bush
school,
footy.
collegiate, bush footy, getting wrecked by Fijians, right through to, like, staying with Sunny Bill. Like, it must have been a bit daunting, as, you're still relatively young as well.
Yeah.
Like, how do you process all of that?
I don't know, to be honest. Like,
You just do it.
What was the first day like at pre-season when you walked in?
No, everyone was just like introducing themselves. I'm like,
who's this kid?
yeah. I felt they were like, who's this kid? Like, literally. And then, I think because it was pre-season, like once we got into our work and stuff, you sort of just gain that connection and gain that bond and respect through the hard work you put in together. And then I'd still be like what is it, still like hold back with like trying to interact with like the senior players, because so I was just close with the boys the younger boys at the time. And to be fair, I wish I'd like tapped into them more, or like ask questions, because I was a little kid. I was a kid essentially, and I was too shy. I lacked confidence, and I was just like, I don't want to talk to him. I'll be like, I'll avoid him.
Who did you come in with? So who were the new kids on the block? So you had yourself and
I think like there was a group of them who I think were a year before, but we sort of were all the same age. It was so Geordie was there.
Trainer.
Shout out to that Gronk.
Sam Knock. Rico was there, I think, the year before, because we were all like similar age. Who else? Yeah, that's like the few. But so like we'd just be in sort of our buzz.
Sorry, before we go into your Blues career, was Blues was always the team that you wanted to play for? Or was
Who did you want to play for?
Or did they just come up?
The Hurricanes, man. That's what everyone does.
Like my team, like when we lived up here in Auckland, like I always like straight up I supported the Blues.
Right.
And I had like aspirations of playing for the Blues. But the first super team that popped up for me were the Chiefs. And so I was pretty close, and because they're in the region of Taranaki, or Taranaki's in the Chiefs region, I was close to signing with the Chiefs, but on a training contract. And then Tana called and said that they're keen to get me up, and so he brought me, Dad, up to meet, and Dad was in love.
Yeah. So Tana is like,
that sold the story. That sold me the dream. But yeah, I was content with coming up here because I'd always admired the Blues, and growing up watching them. And Dad was in love with Tana. Yeah.
And so here you are, like this young kid cutting his teeth essentially with like some veterans, some guys who've been around in the game, and some of like the greats too. What was, I guess, like, okay, you're standing there, you're trying to learn everything, but are you thinking already like, okay, how am I going to get on this field, and how am I going to get my jersey and hold it? Is that your thinking at the time, or are you still kind of just like
soaking it in?
Soaking it in.
I think for like a good 2, maybe even 3 years, like I was like navigating the life of a professional like rugby player, like learning. I didn't even know how to eat properly. Like I rocked up to my first preseason day, and I got taught how to cook scrambled eggs from our PD manager.
Wait, what was your diet pre coming to Auckland? Like
takeout, like takeaways, like sushi. I'd eat out a lot, like sushi, like kebabs, and then like your fast foods.
Wow.
Yeah. And
fast metabolism.
So I can make it.
You hear that, kids?
Yeah, and so like nutrition, that was like one side. The actual tactical and technical aspects of the game, like getting my head around that, like, and then like kind of putting it all into one, and then like actually learning how to get up and deliver a game plan to a team. Was for me, like, because I was quite within myself. It was new to me, but it was something that I like constantly wanted to keep working on and keep growing. And so like it probably, my mind was probably just going with the flow. Just going along with the trainer says this, do this, or the coach is like saying do this move, or or he'll ask me, what do you reckon? And I'll be like, oh yeah,
anything.
But
up to you.
Like that. So that was I was sort of going with the flow, but I think it took time. It took time for me to actually grasp it and understand where you need to be able to excel, sort of at any level of professional rugby, whether it's Mitre 10, Super, and then ultimately the big stage.
You never really like appreciate how hard a 10's job is, like,
bro, straight up.
We've had a hooker on here, we've had outside back, and Chubby, and just to hear like,
and then a former 10 and myself. So I think only me and Steve can really connect.
10 seats on the bench. 10 seats in the stand.
To be essentially like almost given the keys to a team, like to, they're entrusting you with, like, to deliver this game plan from the coaches. Like, man, it must be a daunting task, especially like you obviously get given a shot and you make your debut against Queensland Reds. Like, talk to us about that feeling, like, you get a chance to come on and lead the team around, sort of thing.
Yeah, that was extravagant, eh?
So can you just find out what extravagant is?
No, my brother said it on his edit today, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna try to say that. It was special because it was in Sa, and Opia Park, and I hadn't seen my family in Samoa since I was like 2. So the last time I went to Sa was when I was a toddler. And so to see them there. They were all there. There was a whole village there.
Yeah.
To see them there and to debut in front of them, and it was Geordie as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Geordie is.
Yeah.
That was Geordie's debut too. So I'm 271 and I think he's 272.
True.
Yeah. So to do it together as well, and we sort of like, that's when we first met, but it was pretty cool, man. It was hot. I come on with, I think, like 30 minutes to go, and like I was fresh, but like trying to catch the ball and like so dewy and slippery, and we won. So
And you scored, eh? You scored.
I did.
Score in the motherland.
Score in the motherland. Did Dad and family make the trip over? Or?
Nah, they didn't manage to.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think because it was, I found out on the Tuesday.
Short notice.
The notice was short. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, and then the next week, you get to play against the British Isles.
The Lions.
British
British
Lions. British
Yeah.
Lions.
Man.
Talk to us about that experience. Obviously, I remember that game you threw a nice little beauty cutout to Rex. Can you talk us through that game? Obviously,
that was probably the most nervous like I've ever been before a game, because I didn't know the capacity or how like big it was going to be, or what was at stake, and like I didn't actually know, like, because I didn't watch much international like rugby. Yeah, I only knew sort of the big names in the team, like their 10s and their 9s, but like the other players. So like, it was, in a way, it was kind of a good challenge, because my mindset there was like I didn't have anything to lose. Yeah. So like I was inexperienced, but I was like, I can have fun, I can, jam. So that was my mindset. But before that, I was so nervous. And I remember running up to, I think it was like 60,000.
Eden Park, eh?
Yeah,
you won, eh? They won. They got
They
up.
had a good squad there.
The Blues
and the touring squad.
Oh yeah.
Was it like Guns?
George North.
Yeah, that was those guys.
Was Manu on that tour?
Nah, he wasn't on tour, but the Vuni Polar brothers were.
Yeah. Marco thing.
Yeah. It's Mako.
Marco.
Marco.
That's how we say it. The Shire.
Marco Polo.
But back to was it Lehigh West? Scored their last try. The whacking. Yeah, but what was that like? The win, and then obviously the celebration and stuff, because you're still quite young at this point. Yeah.
I think it topped off a season that for us that was like up and down, and I think it had been like that, for the following few years. But that win, like, probably the a small bit of belief in the group that was to remain.
Yeah.
That like we could actually
Do
have a crack and do something. Because the following year there was a lot of senior boys that were leaving. The group that stayed, and probably the core group that are here now, like we're experiencing that. We did experience that feeling, and so I think it put a big boost of belief when we won that one. I'll never forget it. That moment when Lehigh West scored, and it's just like, I was like, whoa. I was like, yo, that's on. But it was pretty cool. Yeah.
And then so like you kind of start to find your feet as a professional rugby player now at this point, and I'm guessing that the years that proceed, everything kind of happens after that. You find some more game time in the Blues jersey, and I'm just like working our way towards this AB debut, because like I didn't know that at 3 years old you were thinking about being All Black, Sorry. And so like the years of like getting told to go for a run at 6 a.m. You know, the hard work, the tough love.
Yeah.
You know, the loss, obviously. And then having to, you know, make quite big moves as far as like moving away from home, moving away from your base, and then coming to the big city in Auckland, to eventually finding yourself, you know, being caught up to the ABs. Like, can you remember exactly what the feeling was like finding out that you were going to be an All Black? Like, was it or were you kind of like, I'm here now, it's only a matter of time? Like, what was that feeling like finding out that you were going to pull on that black jersey that you had been dreaming about for, you know, so many years?
Because they couldn't deny, like,
that
that
22
had a season, like,
that 2022 season.
not even saying that because you're here, like, you had a good season, like, amazing season,
like,
and so the call up was destined
warranted,
to happen,
yeah.
warranted.
Yeah. I just find it hard. I don't think there's like words in this world or like words in the dictionary or like words in my vocabulary
Extravagant.
that like could describe the rush or the feeling that I got. Yeah. I remember being just like numb. Like I just had like a rush of adrenaline and I was just like, this isn't it. Like, this isn't real. But I mean, like, from like my like, family and like friends, and I think there was like loads of love and support, which I appreciated because I do it, you know, for them. I do it for the people and for my loved ones, and you know, when sort of, you know, one person succeeds, you know, they're all up there too because they've all had a hand in my journey. So I think for me, proud and relieved in a sense was an understatement. There's an understatement. Yeah.
What was the dad's reaction? Like, how did he? Good.
It's like,
Nice work.
Yeah, he didn't say much, but he did. He always tells me just to give praise back to the man up above, and I think even with the journey to come, it's always been his foundation of putting your trust there and letting him, you know, do the work. And he's still in my ear today, like around that, and still working hard. Like I went back last week and he's still like telling me, make sure you like go and run, or because I just come off my shoulder injury, and he's like, make sure you go in the gym and, you know, do these exercises. And he just bought these dumbbells because he's retired and he's trying to stay somewhat like active. And he's like using these like 7.5 dumbbells, and he's like, see these ones? Yeah, these are good for your shoulder. I'm like, thanks, Dad. Thank you.
That's the cool thing though, because like, you know, to everyone else, you're Stephen Perofeta, you know, but like to your dad, you're still son, you know, like you'll never be at a level where it's funnel, but like, you know, you'll never be at a level where you can tell him like you'll always still be his son. Like,
and I have things in my head. I'm like, Dad, I've got a physio that like tells me all these things, but I'm still like, you're right.
Nice.
You're right.
My arm's feeling better. I mean, and that, so like, I mean, what a rush, for you to finally realize a dream that has been, it was a long time coming. And so, you know, it was hard and fast. You got out there and you got the jersey on. But I remember listening to you on, or maybe reading, and you said that describing your debut, it was a dream fulfilled for you, you know. no matter if it was a second long or a whole game. Like
Yeah.
you done it. What is it like? Because these guys don't know what it's like to achieve anything.
Oh wow.
No, but like, can you describe
yeah.
us what it's like to achieve that? Because the ABs, come on, is every kid's literally
Yeah.
like every little
And-
kid's dream. We all
and I
dreamed of being
remember
the
because there was a hot. Yeah, Ian Foster was kind of under the pump, and he had come through, and then it didn't make sense to chuck in Stephen. That's what was going on in with the last 50 seconds. But I remember, I think Rico even said something on it too. It's like 50 seconds more than a lot of people.
Yep.
Think about every single person who plays rugby in New Zealand,
in New Zealand.
or every single 3-year-old that dreams to get there. Eh? And then now that you're there, and even if it was 50 seconds, 5 seconds, like
But it's elite level. Like
Yeah.
man,
people
that's-
don't appreciate that.
you
the
didn't
All
wake
Blacks-
up and choose to play for the All Blacks.
like
Yeah, yeah.
who was it? That guy that do you guys remember the guy who done the basketball challenge? And people were like Brian Scalabrine or something. Do you guys hear about this? He's like an ex-pro NBA player.
Oh,
So
true,
get this.
true.
Oh, yes, I do.
And people
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
smack
yeah.
about him.
Yeah.
And he was like, I can beat you. Like,
Yeah.
I might be, I might not be at the best thing, but like, I'm better than you. And people don't understand, like,
If
The
you're
level.
at the
even
ABs
if you got
yeah.
called into the wider squad for ABs, you're a lot better than like a lot of Super Rugby and a lot of the guys in Europe, So like, just saying.
just a little stab. Yeah.
So like at an elite level like that, like to run on with, and realize that dream. Like, what's going through your head at this point? Like, don't drop the ball, don't drop the ball.
In my mind, I didn't really want to feed it, doubt. I just wanted to get out there and be free. I think that's when I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, your best too, yeah.
That's when I'm at my best. As soon as I'm like, oh, don't do this, or like, that little voice in your head, like telling you can't, or that's when I crumble. Yeah, so for me, it was 50 seconds, but I got out there and I was just like, just trying to enjoy every second. Kind of, yeah. So, and if I got longer or if I didn't even get on, I was still going to enjoy every moment. And the lead up for it was huge too. Like the week, it was different from every other week, because prior to that, to when I got named, like I was training and for the reason to prepare them, to prepare because I wasn't getting picked. So like my job was to sort of organise and do the moves so that they're prepared for what the opposition are going to bring. But this week was different because I was actually in there, and so I had to know sort of all our roles and all our stuff, and then to actually run out onto that field and like in front of a packed crowd and sing the national anthem for the first time was I had to like close my eyes because I was going to cry and just breathe. I had to just like breathe, and because it was
Surreal.
Surreal,
yeah. It's but that 50 seconds, it was, I like look at things with always like, to take something from it. So like, it was 50 seconds, but I'm like, it's gonna, keep the flame burning, or, that's gonna keep it going, because I want more, it doesn't finish there. Yeah.
And so like now you've kind of experienced like all the levels of rugby. It's like levels in Tekken, like Street Fighter. So you've experienced all these levels. Could you describe to us? Actually, before I go to that, I gotta ask you the DC question I had, because I read up that you're a massive DC fan.
Yeah.
Like, he was one of your idols. So I've got some trivia for you. Nah, don't. Like, for someone like him, and as already alluded to this a bit, how does a 10 deal with the pressure of having to execute a game plan, you know, in front of everyone on the big stage at any level, you know, of professional rugby? It's a massive job. How do you like now? Obviously, as a professional, you've done this for some time. How do you deal with that pressure? Like, you know, because everyone's looking to you, right? Everyone's looking to you, like, okay, what's the play? You know, what's our movement here? How do you, how do you kind of deal with all that?
Well, one thing is you have to know your game inside out. Like
Preparation.
someone, it's your prep. So for me, like, if I can just own, you know, what we're doing because I've prepared and I've nailed, I know our game. Then I can be confident. And then when those situations come, you can know that in the back of your mind, you'll be like, oh, wait, I've looked at this, or, you know, I know this because, you know, I've actually studied it. So that's where that, like, confidence comes from. And then kind of like in situations, like, what else gives me confidence is like the work I've put in
Throughout
the whole year, the off season. Like, you sacrifice you know, all that time to practice. And then once it comes game time, it comes with an instincts, so it's like second nature. And that helps a lot. And there's still times where you know, it's not perfect, or, you know, I miss a kick or I miss 3 kicks. But like with my mindset is like I look at it and it's like there's no point in kind of like dwelling on it. Like the best I can do is just keep on going. Keep on working on it.
And that's sorry, that 2022 season. You spoke about your kicks, and I remember you got a I think it was one of the early games in the season, and you get a game-winning kick on the side. Is that the Tars? Who did you?
I think it was the Chiefs.
Oh, Chiefs! On the side. And I remember, like, that was kind of the start of your like your momentum that season, and it kind of set you in good stead for. And then you get obviously caught up for the ABs. But I just wanted we talked. Chris mentioned DC. What was probably the greatest advice that you got from any of? Now you've played with Sonny Bill, you've come through quite young, and you've caught JK and Jerome Kino and
the rugby players.
But you've kind of caught. And what's the greatest piece of advice that you've got from some of the oldies?
I remember one from DC, like the way he talked about pressure and sort of not shying away from it, but like actually walking towards it. And he I think it's a quote, he uses it too, like pressure's a privilege. So like, I think when you're in those moments and you have those pressure moments, it's not like taking a step back and letting it get to you. It's just embracing it and walking towards it and owning it. But it's through the confidence that you have from your preparation and from what you've done. But probably another big thing that keeps me like grounded too is just loving what you do and who you do it with. Like, if you can't care for people, and you know, if you go out on a field every weekend and you're going to battle pretty much, and if you're not able to connect with them or know them on a personal level, like, you can't, you know, push it on the field like that. I come to it was a realization after when Sean Wainui passed, and he'd
yeah.
come off, and we were close. And when that news come about, like my mindset just shift. Like we're not in this game for long. We're not here for long. Because I usually didn't like enjoy the companionship like with the boys. Like I was just like too serious. But then once that come, like I was like, fuck, I've got to like enjoy, just like love the boys, because you never know when you finish playing, or you never know, you know.
Yeah.
And that's probably at another. That's like on a like, you know, that's life or death. But I think it's taught me just to love what you do, but love who you're doing it with too, and care for them.
Yeah.
What a
I like that.
what a takeaway,
yeah.
man.
And
The thing with that is like what you're saying, especially in the life of a rugby player or like any professional athlete, especially in a contact sport, like it's not long, and I think like maybe when you've been doing it since quite a young age, you almost think like this is life, and like you're right, it's not. Like eventually that will end, and you'll move on to something else, and enjoying it in the moment for what it is, and that's
And you also said like, if you don't have that relationship, it can't be forced on the field. It's either like, you know, these are my brothers every day, and twice on Sunday or Saturday, and whatever. Or it's like, because when it's, you can tell when it's forced there, and when it's authentic, I think it works in your favor. But that's a time, eh? Like
it's a bar.
and you mentioned Sean Wainui too, man. That's deep stuff, eh? That's like rugby is a game, but then you know life is. And you get to journey with these boys and share a lot of your life with them as well. So that's in that way, like, you know, that relationship should be valued and it should be, you know, placed of in significance and the fact that you shared on it, that's solid.
Yeah, thanks for that, Us.
I view it like, because we work so hard, like together for so long. Like I'd be like, you don't want to let your boys down, or you know, you don't want to do them a disservice for not like executing your job to the best of your ability. And when you don't, like, you actually feel pretty like down and pretty shit. And
they're always the ones to come to the rescue, anyways.
Hard.
When you're copying it big time, it's the boys that you're in the trenches with that come to the rescue. But tell us about 2021, the trip with the Blues. Some would say it's a flawed trip. But I honestly, like, Ray was on here earlier this season, and he talked about how big it was for the club, but also just for the boys in that group. And tell us how you felt about that.
Yeah, well, was what 20 years like since the last time. So for a club, it was like the best thing ever. Personally, that was probably where I was, like, in the trench myself. I'd started, I think, the 2021 season. I started like the first half where we'll just play with the New Zealand teams, so the Super Rugby Aotearoa. And then I'd been off. I was off, to be honest. Yeah, I wasn't like on. And then when they started playing the Aussie games with the Super Rugby Pacific, I didn't play, so I didn't play at all. And even in the final, I was in the grandstands watching. But then when I wasn't getting picked, I just fell into a hole there, like fell to alcohol. I just turned to alcohol for an answer, and literally I was I'd be on it like 2 or 3 times a week, like on a Tuesday before our day off. And then the day off before, so the day off, which was the Wednesday, and then rock up to Thursday training, like. But it was because I'd never experienced that before, like getting dropped, and I'd used alcohol as like a
coping
mechanism.
Coping mechanism. And then Saturday after the game, and so I was just in the cycle, and I think the boys around me were aware of it, and and they were like talking to me and stuff, and like still saying like, you know, you still keep going, you're next up and stuff like that. But yeah, I found myself in a hole, and it wasn't until after that season where I was like, if I've got to make a big shift, like I've got to sacrifice something. And that's when I just thought to myself, all right, I'll just no alcohol like in season. And that following Mitre 10 campaign at the end of 21, after the Blues season, just did me wonders. And I think it was more the mindset shift. Like around, you're not intoxicated, or like your mind's fresh, your body is able to recover, and you're able to just attack everything and have a clear view of what you want to achieve and how you want to do it. So then from then I just I keep doing it. I've kept doing it.
So in season you're booze free.
Nice.
So you hear that?
Booze free. What about cover?
But it's replaced with
Hey, you gotta
alternatives. Alternatives.
Satisfy.
What kind of, because you said you're in a hole, like after being dropped, what helped to pull you out of that? Like, so you're able to shift your mindset, right? Was that something that you came to on your own, or like who was there pitching in and tipping into your cup to help you?
Like a few of the boys, like they were talking to me. My partner, Roy Mata, and she recommended a therapist or like a counsellor or so I got I had like a few sessions with a therapist just to like talk about what I was feeling and how I was coping with it, and then how it would affect like life out of the arena. And it was like, I think my relationship with RJ was, you know, a bit rough. I wasn't talking, and then like I was just to myself, and then once I saw that and got that help, like I just
worked out for you.
Oh man,
opened up my eyes.
That's good. And then you go into a stellar season in 2022. Wow, that's cool. Did you ever think of going overseas? At any point?
Yes.
Is that following being dropped in
So that was part of the reason was that, because the start of the 22 season last year, I was like coming off the bench, and I'd gone hard. I'd like come off the Mitre 10 season.
So you were
I felt good, and I was in good shape, and I felt like I was playing good footy. And for the first, I think 2 or 3 games, I was coming off the bench, and I was like, oh nah, they're not doing this now. Like, and so that's what probably pushed the boat even more for me to push the case for me to go. So I was going to sign with
Japan.
in Japan, team in Japan, and they had a contract ready for me. I just had to put the pen to paper, and I went to sleep, and so the next day I was going to hand them the contract, but that night, like, I couldn't sleep. Like, I was just tossing and turning, because I was like, if I sign this and then go to Japan, like, I'm just throwing everything away. Like, I'm giving it up. I've given it up. So I was like, I called my agent at like 3, and I was like,
can't do it.
Nah, I'm staying. I'm staying. Like, I'll give it a good crack, like, the next few years, and if still nothing, then that's when I'll leave. But at least I know I've like given it everything. So I was close to going, but I ended up staying.
Made the right decision.
But
then Manu would have had a 10.
Certainly.
I gotta ask you one more of these hollow, sort of daunting questions. And this is a shout out to also Jeff, who usually asks this question.
Jeff, Sounds
If you've seen him,
sounds familiar, but I can't put a face.
We're still looking for Jeff. If you've seen him,
so like you know, obviously you experienced some tough times on the field. You know, obviously being like dropped from some teams. But can you talk us through, like, say you've had a bad game, and you feel in your heart that you've had a bad game. And then you hop online and you sort of see all this criticism that's been thrown towards
Comment section,
comment section, all the keyboard warriors, like, who think they're first fives in their own right. Now, how do you sort of deal with that? Obviously we've had Ray and Ave come on to the pod, and they say, they get taught not to look at that sort of stuff, but you're only human, and you're gonna find yourself looking at it, especially our sort of generation.
Yeah.
Like, how do you sort of deal with criticism for yourself?
Yeah, you're right. Like, I'd be lying if I said I didn't look at it.
Yeah.
And I do. But I think for me, I'm more concerned about, like, my family and, like, my aunties and uncles and my dad and stuff who read that stuff, because they care for me as well. And, like, I've learned to deal with it because it's just part of professional rugby. And I always say to myself, like, everyone's got an opinion. Like, one day, you'll play good and they'll be, like, on your back, or they'll be all for you, and then the next day you play shit, and then they're like, a whole different story. So that's why I'm like, it's part of the game, and I've just learned to filter it out, and I do my best to avoid it, but it's impossible.
You
can't.
like inevitable.
Yeah,
You're gonna come across it at some point.
Yeah. So I'm more concerned about like my partner and like her mum or my dad and, like, the fams. But I just tell them, like, they're just gonna always be there. It's my job to shut them up.
for me,
And it's one of those things, like you said, it is part of being a professional athlete. You're in front of everyone all the time, and one day they're your mate because you played well, and then the next day, like, you're the most hated person. And that, like you said, is part of the game. Another crucial part you talked about was preparation. Obviously, everything you put in before you actually get on the field. What is, if you have one, like, your pre-game ritual before you go out there? Like, we asked Ray the same question. He said he wears the same undies.
All week long. It's every day.
I love those, but we should have a talk to him about that. Is there anything, like, that you do quite religiously before you go out onto the field, or, like, in prep for a game, that kind of helps to set the tone and get you ready for kickoff?
It's probably not a ritual. I'm not, like, too big on rituals, but I do have, like, a weird habit of, like, before I leave the house, to go to, like, the like, warm up and stuff. I, like, have to make sure, like, my bed's made and, like, there's no mess, like, everything's tidy, because, like, I hate coming back, say after a loss or something, and you come back home and then the house is messy and you're like,
Even worse.
even worse. Now I gotta clean up and we lost. But then on the flip side, when I, like, get home and we win and the house is tidy, and you're like, oh, yo, we're on. Boys,
Then you make a mess.
Sorry,
but that's right. Like, I mean, that's, like, make your bed, and it doesn't matter how bad or good your day goes. Like, you come home to a made bed at the end of it. What's in the headphones? What's playing on the playlist pre-game, if anything?
What are the trackers?
Yeah.
You said I was a simple man, at the start. I don't listen to music.
Oh, it's true. yeah.
I like.
Was that on an article? You said that in an interview, eh?
Yeah.
I'm a simple man and I like simple things.
Oh, yeah. I felt like I did used to listen to music. Like I would listen to just like Afro beats, or reggae, or like just hip hop, rap, But I found when I was listening to music before a game, I would just be like too like locked, or like just within myself. Like I'll just be like putting more pressure on myself to like I can get up. But now that I haven't been listening, or now that I don't listen to music, I'm just aware of kind of everything around me, and I'm a bit more loose and free, and I'm able to see like what the feel is in the room, and I'm able to like notice how I'm feeling, if I'm like a bit nervous or excited or but I have a better awareness of where I'm at, but then kind of
where the teams
and there's a couple of us who there's one other who doesn't listen to music, and it's just us two that don't listen to music, and while everyone's like chirping and singing away, we're just like looking at each other, just like laughing and joking.
Who was it?
Mark.
Mark.
So he doesn't listen to music, and so we'll just like look over each other, and while everyone's in their zone, like, we'll just be like joking and taking it lighthearted. And I guess that's another way for me to
prepare.
To sort of feel calm and relaxed.
That's interesting, And I've never looked at it that way.
Yeah.
Who are the most staunch? Headphones on, like
the
like
LeBron James,
like I'd have to say Reeks.
True.
Yeah.
Like he's headphones in. And just
Aki like sings.
Yeah.
true.
He's like rapping his stuff. Like, he's in the zone. Yeah.
Who's the physio guy? Who's getting a rub down like first?
He's got the deep beat.
He's got the most strapping tape. He's using all the electrical tape.
Who's that? I don't know. I don't pay attention to that.
And then you have the cows with the gum and just like chewing away and like just that's crack up.
We'll get to,
but we'll segue into a few questions. Not really questions, but we have this new segment. It's just fill in the gap. So I'll say a sentence, and then you fill in the gap with whatever answer or whatever it is that you think fits.
is this all of us or just the?
Are you the guest?
Are you an All Black?
Are you an All Black? Nah, so it's
yes,
it's just for
I'll just be over here with the ball.
First one, rugby is to me, and then gap space.
My passion.
Passion man's. The one player I hate playing against is
Jesse Peridi.
ooh, young fella, eh? Or no?
He's getting there. He's getting
Yeah.
I haven't played against him often.
Yeah.
But I know that playing, like, having him on my team
It's better.
is like good. But like, if you're like opposing him, it's just
The biggest grub I've ever played with is
Played with.
Jesse Peridi.
that's why
my cousin's
one player I wouldn't let date my sister is
Jacob Ratamatibuki.
the biggest clown I've played with is
Sam Knock.
Knock. And then I got another one, blind rank or a blind draft. It's gonna be a draft of the most famous Stevens. Okay, and I'm gonna give you a few names, and you're gonna have to rank them 1 to 5. Okay, so first one, Beaver, Stephen Donald.
Oh,
Where are you placing him? Legend.
Are these like? Am I allowed to, are these like all rugby players or just like any?
They're gonna be any.
Oh yeah. But he's done great things for this country, man.
Yep.
You only get 5 spots.
Kicked us to World Cup glory. The weight of a nation. Stephen Donald.
I feel like he's middle pack, so like 3.
Three.
Three.
Yep. Ooh, I would put him there.
Yeah.
Okay, second one, Stephen A. Smith.
Ooh. He's like, who the hell Stephen A. Smith?
Do you know who Stephen A. Smith is?
Is it that black
Yeah.
Yeah.
commentator now?
Yeah. He's
yeah.
like a
NBA.
analyst, sports analyst.
Sports, yeah. Because I don't follow like the commentators and stuff. I'll put him at 4.
Ooh, that's quite generous.
4.
Stephen Crichton. Critter.
Oh, he's making waves too. I respect what he's doing. He's up there. I feel like you got some gems still coming. So, and there's a lot of great Stephens out there, so I'll put him at 2.
Two. Steph Curry.
Yeah, 1. 1.
Which leaves you with your last spot.
Which is
Stephen Perofeta.
I don't even know if you know.
Who is it?
Stephen King. I don't
He's
even
the
know.
author?
The author.
Yeah.
He's a book writer, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't not read one of his books. 5.
Oh, 6. 5. No, that's not a bad draft.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty on point.
Yeah.
Nice.
One of you should have brought it up. But this year's World Cup, obviously, you missed out on selection. What was the thought process for you? And kind of, it's been tough because maybe you caught year 3 because if you're building for a World Cup, like it's good to get in year 1, year 2, but you caught like towards the end of their preparation. Then maybe like not making it.
Yeah.
And then you see how they performed this World Cup, and quite still grieving of that loss. But you know how was I know you would be disappointed, and the dream was to play the World Cup for the ABs, and what are your sights set on for maybe the next round of the World Cup?
Yeah. I was gutted to miss out, but I think I knew within that I wasn't where I needed to be at that level and perform at that level, and I think there were I needed to be physically right and mentally right in the first place to even be considered, and that's what I was settled with, because I needed to get myself right, I needed to get my body right, I needed to get my mind right.
Yeah.
But the drive is still there and the ambitions are still there. Like future goals and ambitions are, I want to get a World Cup trip.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate goal, and I know it's another 4 years, but that's gonna come by quick. I think I come into the game at 18 or 19.
Yeah.
And I'm now 26, and that's felt like a flash.
Yeah.
So
It'll come by here.
yeah, and I'm not getting any younger. So yeah, I think just got to set it big, and I think do the same with the 09. Yeah, get a chip for the 09. Yeah,
Nice.
and the Super. So those are But then also that's footy, but I think in life, like I've come from, what I thought was struggle, but I feel like a lot of, boys who are there have made it in a similar pathway. But for me, my biggest thing is like I want to see the next kid from Wanganui, or I want to see a young kid from Sa, have that belief and have the ambition to dream as big as you want, because it is possible, and through a little bit of hard work and that work and what your parents teach you from a young age, you can achieve anything and you can do it. So yeah, that's probably the bigger picture
For you,
for me. Yeah.
And we talked about, sorry, it's a part 2 question. It's a 2-part question, but we talked about especially with Chave, about the transition, and some of his battles that he faced transitioning. What's the plan after footy for you? What are you looking forward to? And
my partner Roimata asked me this yesterday when we were in the car, and I sat for a good 10 seconds and I was like, I'm going to be an electrician.
Yeah.
She was like, mate, you're not going to finish rugby and then go back to a 9 to 5 on the tools like after rugby. And I was like, or maybe I'll own an electrician company or something. It's not set in stone yet, but I've always had a interest in like sparky work.
Nice.
Whether it be working in the field on the tools or
whatever,
whether it's having shares in company or some sort like
nice,
that. But ask me in another 10 years.
But it's never too early to start thinking about it, because you could be one injury away from. God willing, though. But that's but that's good. Sparky, because you're a part-time builder now.
I'm
glad I picked up rugby and not building.
Not there yet. Next year, the season, what's going to look like for you guys? Obviously, got a new coach coming, Vern, and I read a quote earlier this week. He's pretty much giving you the reins to the team. He's giving you the keys to. He's pretty much said, "This is your team. You know, you lead the boys around the park."
Pressure is privilege.
Yeah, pressure is privilege. So what are the hopes for the Blues next season? Obviously, with you holding the keys to the Aston Martin.
It's the journey.
I will say one thing, like for me, like everything is earned and nothing's ever going to be given. I've got to work for it and actually prove that, you know, I am there for a reason. So it doesn't come without hard work, and that's my job to do it, and I want it. I want to. So I'm looking forward to it. It's exciting times, and I think it's an exciting group too, because there's a few fresh faces, coaching group. So there'll be good edge, I feel. There'll be good edge and good energy.
That's exciting. Are you still a Blues fan, Chris, or you?
Nah, don't follow Super Rugby anymore. Hearty Blues have to. Or like support Blues. If you live in Auckland, you gotta support Blues and Warriors. So that's what I do. Okay, maybe just the Blues. Maybe just the Blues. But what a note to finish on. I was gonna say we'll give you the last words, but I mean, just in your discussion there, you know, like what a powerful message, especially looking ahead and now you're looking to give back. As a kid coming from a place like Wanganui and facing the challenges you faced, to, you know, then coming to Auckland and then pursuing your All Black dream, you're right, it can be done even from outside of the spotlight, and out in these out in the regions too. So like it's actually quite inspirational for a lot of those kids, because you know what, some of these guys in Auckland, I'm not going to say names, but
what?
Nah, but you know, like,
what's wrong with us in Auckland?
No. What I'm saying is, like, in Stephen's story, right? There's not many kids that are sitting in outside of Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, you know, in the outer regions that are thinking like that's a realistic opportunity. Like you mentioned before, right? You weren't even thinking that, but hard work, determination, we'll call it character building that your father, you know, all contributed towards that. And like what he's saying is like, if you can do it, then, you know, anyone could do it. I wish I could do it. Anyways, as always, you can find us on all the social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok as well. again, also thank you so much for making.
And follow
the
the Blues 2024
Yo.
season. Okay?
We have you back
Follow
on
the
at the end
journey.
of the season
Yeah.
to talk about the championship.
We'll do a
eh?
recap. We'll do a recap.
Please. And the YDP boys will come and watch a game at Eden Park.
In the corporate box. In the corporate box.
The Cooper box.
My guy, thanks, Us. Appreciate it.
No, appreciate the time. Thank you for having me.
Malo.